Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, the full version is available on Patreon. I'll be uploading all my content there going forward. It's currently free, but in the future I'll add a small monthly fee to support the channel. Comment or message me what price feels fair for you. Let's make it comfortable for both sides.
Chapter 1. The year 1509 of the Haiwan calendar. 9 Snake Island, in the dense forest to the east. North is a person with the ability to achieve the sun day by day. This force seemed to burn blood in his body. When fighting people, the sun fruit also brought a wonderful side effect to North. If the posture is arrogant and invincible, then the whole body will feel very uncomfortable and at ease, and when it is unbearable, it will want to run away and bombard. For a long time, in order to control this power, North has even changed his personality a lot. He has to be arrogant and invincible in everything, which leads to being regarded as a kind of narcissism in the eyes of people around him. Hey, hey, hey! At this moment, North is munching on the roasted mushrooms in the forest. Although this thing is really poisonous as they said, it tastes too delicious, refreshing, and not bad at all. What? At the next moment, North suddenly felt that the energy in his body did not increase but decreased, and he became more and more tired and weak. If he did not control this kind of mushroom poison that steals the spirit of the human body, it would be parasitic on the body if it was allowed to develop. Out of a lot of mushrooms. It seems that using the temperature generated by the sun to bake the fruits of the day, can't kill the toxins carried by the mushrooms. Maybe it will speed up the rapid movement of the toxins under the thermal effect, but I don't know if it will affect the mushrooms in the end. My body. North analyzed it calmly in his heart, but instead looked forward to it. As a sun fruit user, if his ability is as simple as glowing and heating, wouldn't that be an idiot's operation? So it took North 3 years to develop the ruthless and loving power of the sun with great concentration. Gravity, phantom, black hole, sunburst, healing, domination and other abilities. Now North immediately unleashes the benevolent power of the sun. A layer of warm golden radiance immediately appeared all over his body, followed by an endless force of life, which gathered in every cell in North's body like an operation similar to the return of life. This is the kindness of the sun, just like the sun in early spring warms all things and has the power to heal all things. Sure enough, the mushroom toxin I just ingested is being forcibly erased. Of course, it's obviously because my body is strong enough. Relying on the hot power of the sun, Zhang has repeatedly tempered his body to the limit of his physical strength. Of course, there is also the fruit ability. I am afraid it has been developed to an incredible level. North smiled and thought, taking advantage of the 3 years of silence and hard training, he finally had incredible benefits. Even if he doesn't use other powers in the face of ordinary toxins, he probably won't be able to help him in the end. Crash! Suddenly, a rude sound of running water rang in North's ear. North followed the sound. It turned out that when he was relaxing and didn't notice, a group of ferocious beasts came. There are buck-toothed wild boars with grunts, black-backed gorilla holding a banana leaf, mammoths with long noses and big bears with grinning teeth, etc. They seem to threaten him as an intruder and provocateur. Tisk tisk! Even dare to threaten your master North to enjoy the skewers? Who gave you the confidence and courage? Usse raised his eyebrows, releasing his killing intent, and roared, I just occupied a bit of your territory, accidentally burned your cubs to death, and ate some by the way, so I need to influence me every day. The ferocious beasts around were frightened by North's killing intent and trembled collectively, feeling that history is always surprisingly similar. But even so, none of the beasts left because they all had a sworn hatred with North. However, some guys with halazi are not promising. They look like beasts, but they are attracted by a few bunches of delicious real fragrant mushrooms. It's so, let's stick to the old rules, you go together. North challenged them with a hook. Not to mention that this trick has been tried and tested, every time after doing it, these guys will rush up aggressively and desperately. Boom 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 boom. The ground shook. Clap clap clap. And North just needs to be careful about this, and knock them all into the air with a left punch and a slap. It seems that they are quite powerful, but there is no resistance in North's hands, not to mention that this is a simple attack by North without turning on the ghost back. North shook his head, looked at the fierce beasts that flew out, and was disappointed again. It's still not challenging at all, but it's really troublesome to be beaten to death by me and have no more to play. Then more than a dozen sun spheres were condensed in one breath, suspended on the palm of the hand. They were only as big as the mouth of a small bowl, but contained a powerful healing power inside. Under the light of this brilliance, the nearby big trees carried out rapid photosynthesis, and gained some incredible strength. The branches and leaves couldn't help but become denser and greener on the spot, as if they were full of vitality. Although North's operation caused a few beads of sweat to surface on his forehead, he didn't pay attention to it. Instead, with a wave of his hand, the sun balls chased after the flying beast. Then North sat back where he was, and carefully stroked his thick golden hair. Fortunately, the hairstyle was not messed up, otherwise he would really kill them this time. Oh, it's getting boring. North suddenly sighed. I feel that going on like this is not an option. It is too lonely for an invincible man like him to stay in daughter country, so he should trample the whole sea under his feet instead of bullying small animals here. I don't know when that woman, the captain, will be able to go to sea again this time. North ate the delicious grilled mushrooms with big mouthfuls, feeling a little regretful in his heart. He didn't expect that just 3 years of silence would bring loneliness so quickly. Little did he know that the orange-haired boa marigold had already come out from behind North, and with her was a green-haired girl, Boa Sandersonia. Both are only 17 years old and currently belong to the level of a tender flower. She suddenly gloated and exclaimed, "Wow, North, who wants to save face, you seem to be getting more and more good at playing." Chapter 2. What do you mean? What will play? North frowned and looked at the two sisters gloating. Their feelings seemed to be looking for trouble, not food. But something goes against common sense. It stands to reason that these two foodies have long been conquered by his daily cooking, and they should be like obedient cats in front of him, only wanting to please. Grodd had thick orange hair, squinted his eyes and said immediately, "Hey, because you have made them lose their cubs and mates, now you only abuse them and don't kill them completely for fun, don't you know how to play?" Speaking of this, Jared was very depressed in his heart, and North actually played with their feelings by doing so. If they could talk, they would definitely scold you for bullying the beast too much, or beg you to give it a good time. And then North closed his eyes and asked lightly, "We?" Sonia on the side laughed inexplicably at this, and several silly smiles appeared on her face. "How stupid are you? According to your usual style, the beasts that are beaten to death will be cooked and eaten immediately, so that Gerudo and I can also have a big meal when we come here." "Sonia, are you crazy? What nonsense are you talking about?" Jared was dumbfounded the whole time, and wanted to go up and cover Sonia's mouth in a hurry. How could he say such embarrassing words? Sonia realized the problem. Then he touched the back of his head with an uncomfortable expression. I'm sorry, Jared, listen to me, I'm starting to feel very depressed about myself, but it's true that I accidentally slipped my mouth. It turns out that this is what you really think." North sneered, looking down upon them both in a condescending manner. "Really, I've never seen such a brazen person like you two who can make up things for people like me." North, just for food. Even let a kind-hearted and caring person kill those lovely animals. Have you degenerated into devils? Don't talk about us like that, okay? Sandersonia is a juicy girl and a super honest person. Besides, your abuse of them is a kind-hearted operation. As the owner of the snake fruit, Sonia has been infected with a bit of snake-like charm, and everything she says and does at the moment is quite nasty. That's it. Grodd lacked confidence, and said with a guilty conscience, I remember my lord's sister said that your life belongs to our 9 snake pirates, and those who lie to you and people lie to you are all for your face, so don't let it be yours. Put on an air of aloofness in front of your savior, otherwise would you have any conscience? North was stunned because of this, as if he had been trampled by 10,000 horses in his heart. These two guys are really hateful, to threaten him from the highest point of morality? Let me ask seriously, Boya Hancock really said that? North resisted the impulse in his heart. Grodd didn't take it seriously, pretended not to know, and said, that's right, that's what you just said. Knowing the consultant, be careful of getting angry. North clenched his fists tightly, and the hot temperature on his body began to leak out, and countless irregular ripples appeared in the burning space on the spot. After the two sisters saw each other, they were helpless in their hearts. North began to pretend again, and every time he used the power of the sun to bully them, and did not change any other means and abilities. What a cheapskate! Is it because they are afraid that they will know more cards, but this time, the two of them will never give in easily. Sonia held her undulating breasts with both hands, and said with a serious look, I'm not afraid, North, let me tell you, we won't cooperate with you this time, if you don't believe me, come and try. North was immediately stunned, and really felt that he couldn't get down the stairs. Because he just wanted to scare the two of them. After all, as a gentleman, his words were hard to follow, and they are still valid now, not to mention that the other party is indeed his savior. So bear with it. North withdrew all the power of the explosion, and asked strangely, know who gave you the courage and confidence? You must know that my cooking skills are invincible in the sea. If you don't cooperate with me today, it is tantamount to rejecting me. Lots of delicious food. Then, so what? Jared just blinked his eyes, he could see that he was quite firm in his heart, and said, of course it's different this time, why didn't you attend the coronation ceremony of my lord's sister today? Ha, you guys are here for this little thing. North immediately remembered what happened last night and couldn't help but smile, pretending to be innocent and said, you guys don't understand the truth, anyway, last night I was almost. You want to brag and make up stories to deceive innocent little girls like us, don't you? Sonia pouted, so annoyed that she didn't want Lennox anymore. I thought it was better to scold North, and then just leave. Anyway, there is no food to satisfy my hunger. There are only a few bunches of mushrooms. What kind of expression is wasted, how good it is to save energy. You are also very narcissistic. North frowned, but thinking of the facts to be said next, he couldn't help but smile on his face. Not afraid to tell you the truth, it was Hancock who begged me not to go to the ceremony. Really, don't ask me why, I won't tell you secretly, she sneaked into my room in the middle of the night last night and was caught by me. You fart. When the two sisters heard this, they were naturally very excited. How can my sis be the kind of person who steals your chicken and touches your dog in the middle of the night? What? But why did I fart? Why can't she be that kind of person? You go back and ask her herself, and see how she explains it to you. North is very strong at this moment, without sloppy. The reason for not going to the coronation site was indeed Hancock's special order before leaving last night. This was obviously because she was worried that North would go, and she was embarrassed to face what happened last night, for fear that it would affect the majesty of the emperor at the coronation ceremony. What a thoughtful woman this is! And North's strength and swearing made the two sisters Gorid and Sonia instantly dumbfounded. They looked at each other, not knowing what to do next. Originally, I came here to ask North why I didn't go to the scene to attend the coronation ceremony of my elder sister, but now it seems that because I don't know the original situation, I wrongly blame North? Humph, even so, we won't reflect on it because of this, your life belongs to our 9 snake pirates, and we think highly of you for cheating and bullying you occasionally. What's more, you are still a handyman on our ship, and you simply don't have enough rights to protect your own human rights. Although Sonia felt very embarrassed, she was also very arrogant and unreasonable, unwilling to bow her head and admit her mistake easily. It seems that Hancock is really getting more and more arrogant, even this Zhang Ziyi taught you. North looked at the awesome looks of the two sisters, and sneered in his heart, thinking that sooner or later these two flowers would be crippled in his hands. Just wait and see, two big ugly fat pigs of the future. Chapter 3. After thinking of more things about North in his heart, he seemed to have enough confidence and continued. Look, we rescued you from the sea 3 years ago, and then you were afraid that your sister would kill you in a fit of rage, so you agreed to become a member of our 9 snake pirates, and promised to start from the bottom as a handyman. But, who made you so arrogant all these years? You don't do this and you don't like that, and then you developed a bad habit of being lazy, and you are still a low-level member of the ship, aren't you embarrassed? Hey, you're talking too much. North looked depressed. What does it mean to be afraid of being killed? Even if he didn't agree to Hancock 3 years ago, in fact, he wouldn't be punished later, after saying that he has the ability to achieve the sun every day. They obviously began to have various feelings, definitely because the Murloc explorer Fisher Tiger rescued them from the hands of the Tianlong people and established the Sun Pirates. Sonia waved her hands very proudly, and continued with her tongue sticking out, slightly, who told you to call us my elder sister? That's right. That's why you don't know that we are well-known elder sister nurses, anyway, you asked for this matter today. Gerudo then became unreasonable. Seeing the two of them smugly talking, North couldn't help taking a deep breath. Okay, I've decided. Even though you don't want to live a stable life, you must let me ride on your heads. Then I, North, will speak with my strength from today on. You, what are you going to do to us? The two sisters saw that North's posture was not right, and they were immediately frightened and backed away with their arms folded. They think that they can't fight, and they can't resist North, this pervert. Right now, they are just using the name of the elder sister, occasionally pretending to be aggressive in front of North. TCH, don't get me wrong, if I'm a girl. Although I want to ride on your heads, it doesn't mean that I am interested in your bodies. Besides, the person who can match my North, the whole Lilyland will probably be ashamed. Only your elder sister can barely make up half of the number. North is absolutely arrogant, or shameless enough to disapprove, and continued, why don't you help me invite Hancock to the grove now? I will have a good fight with her, and take a few things from her return. Then we won't help you. I definitely won't help, but our elder sister is really bad. Can you help me? If you don't help, you're belittling my elder sister in front of both of us. TCH, I don't believe you're evil anymore. After finishing, I will serve a barbecue with honey sauce, think about it. Impossible, we are not the ones who immediately regret it just for mere food. Yes. You'd better go talk to your elder sister yourself, we won't go anyway. Don't think I don't know what you are thinking? Then, I will cook a grown-up sea king for you. Besides, Hancock doesn't want me to go to the scene today, so I can get back a few things from her only if she comes. What? North seduced. I really don't believe that I can't take down these two foodies, so what is his culinary skills that dominate the entire sea? How can you be like this? You always put us in a difficult position. Jared hesitated. Cooking a Neptune would feel very exciting just thinking about it, it should be a pleasure to eat once. That's right, besides, we are people with integrity and dignity, okay? Sonia swallowed her saliva, hesitated and said, well, unless you add another set of deep-sea caviar feast to us, we can consider letting my elder sister come over to clean you up. Sonia, you are so right, although I am still a little bit unwilling. Jared whispered, you are satisfied with this? If it were me, it would definitely make him bleed heavily, and just give us enough food and drink for a month. When Sonia heard Grod's words, she wanted to go back on what she had said to North. But usse immediately squeezed out a few smiles on his face, and said first, deal. Usse's answer, is absolutely guaranteed. I will cook an adult Neptune, plus a set of deep-sea caviar. The two sisters looked at each other, and urged themselves to leave here quickly because of the Sea King and a set of deep-sea caviar dishes that had not been delivered to them. Okay, you wait for the two of us, it's best to stand still, it will be elder sister who will come to clean up you later. Yes, and you are not allowed to go back on your word, we will be there soon anyway. When the sun was about to set, the setting sun in the sky was crimson, reflecting the sea to give birth to red plum blossoms, twinkling and twinkling. During this period, the two sisters had already met Hancock, and completed their task with words, feeling vain in their hearts. Humph! Did he really tell you that? Boya Hancock raised two beautiful eyebrows. Looking at the two sisters who appeared out of nowhere, I was wondering where the two of them had gone, but I didn't expect to go to North and reveal the embarrassing thing about last night. And this guy, North, actually slandered her image so much, saying that she sneaked in last night to do something illegal? Still sneaking around? This is simply unforgivable. Yes, my lord, North is broken now, and he is so swollen that he invited you to fight in the grove, and even threatened us with righteous words. If you don't go, there will be no one in the entire Lily Islands who can fight with him match. Lead the way, I want to make him into a statue and hang it on the highest point of Nine Snake Island. No, I want to put him in a cage first and parade him in the street. Can Hancock endure such arrogant words? What's more, in this land of lilies, she has the final say now, and at the same time, she is confident that as the most beautiful empress above the sea, not everyone is qualified to match her. North is no exception. Soon, the two sisters led Hancock into the dense forest to the east. You came after all. I thought it was just last night. You have been embarrassed to see me again today. North looked at Hancock indifferently. She was dressed in a python flower red robe and an emperor's attire. As expected, people depend on clothes and Buddha depends on gold clothes. This girl is becoming more and more beautiful. Shut up for this emperor, and warn you once, this emperor accidentally entered the wrong room last night. Hancock's face was frosty and cold, as if he wanted to kill North with his eyes. Because for what happened last night, she really didn't know why. In short, she appeared in North's room inexplicably after sleeping until midnight. If it weren't for the fact that she felt wronged and ashamed, how could she just let it go? But it's fine now. This guy North actually wants to talk about this matter, so don't blame her for being really angry. Hee. According to what you said, can I go to the wrong room in the middle of the night next time? North didn't flinch. Don't say that North is being stupid, or admire that he is single based on his ability. What's wrong? In North's mind, this Hancock would never act coquettishly, nor would he make a man happy. On the contrary, he often had a cold face, as if the whole world was wrong in front of her. These made him an arrogant and dignified man, completely unacceptable. Therefore, North has always been dismissive of women like Hancock. If it weren't for the reason of the savior, a woman like this who dared to be proud of him would not be qualified to be proud in front of him, because his strength is stronger than Hancock would never imagine. Chapter 4. Isn't this a joke? Even if the emperor opens the room for you, even a fool like you should have the guts and ability to try it. Hancock didn't even blink his eyes when he said this, and looked directly into North's eyes very forcefully, as expected of the empress of a country, quite aura. But no one knew that when Hancock said these words, she suddenly panicked in her heart. Even she herself felt very strange, and she didn't know why this phenomenon suddenly appeared. It seems that it is necessary to let the experienced Mrs. Zami see, and what is the reason for waking up in the middle of the night and leaving her room inexplicably. Hancock made up his mind to pay attention. Tisk tisk, Hancock, from what you said, do you really think that I, North, have no ability and courage? But you really don't think of me, North, at all? Are you distracted now, or are you already regretting what you just said? North folded his arms, and looked at Hancock's body while walking. I remember that 3 years ago, I paid close attention to the other person's figure, which was completely unattractive. I didn't expect that today, 3 years later, this body is already so plump. Could it be that girls who have passed puberty are all so fast in terms of growth? Tch, your arrogance in the eyes of this emperor is only based on shameless rascals and indecent professions. If it were not worth using, this emperor would have thrown you back into the sea long ago and left you to fend for yourself. Hancock with an extremely cold expression, how could she lose to North? But I don't know why it's still weird, especially when North stared at her body naked. I couldn't control the panic in my heart, and my heartbeat was obviously much faster. Ha ha ha. North suddenly laughed. He even noticed that Hancock's earlobes were both red. The blush is so red, isn't it obvious? What are you laughing at? Hancock asked with a frown. Of course I am laughing at your duplicity. I think you are tempted by me, right? Then I will tell you clearly to stop dreaming. I am not interested in you. North looked directly into Hancock's eyes, and sure enough, he saw some abnormal dodge from her eyes, which made him confirm this conjecture even more. Hancock almost fainted from anger when she heard that. She clenched her teeth. North, you are a narcissistic and shameless person. If the emperor knew you were a pervert that day 3 years ago, even if I saved you will kill you on the spot. Tisk tisk, duplicate again. I have the fruit of the day in my body. In the world of pirates, I am the sun. For you, I am the only sustenance now. After all, 3 months ago. North originally wanted to say that Fisher Tiger had died 3 months ago, and that he was the only sun above the sea now, but Hancock got angry and interrupted immediately. Shut your mouth, what are you entitled to know? Hancock was completely angry, his tone was very cold and biting. The domineering aura was released on the spot, sweeping across the dense forest. Countless fallen leaves were blown up, like a gust of wind scraping countless flying sand and stones on the ground. This invisible force. It is the domineering power that Hancock awakened 3 months ago. Of course, if other people are here, they will definitely feel extremely heavy, as if they are overwhelmed, and they may even pass out on the spot. I didn't expect you to be really angry with me, so let's talk about it today. North was fearless, looked down upon Hancock, a cold and arrogant woman, and said coldly. Today I will take something from you. First of all, you are the captain of the 9 snake pirates. Then I, North, will be the deputy captain no matter what. After all, I have been silent for 3 years. Finally, don't want to be a waste? Then come and take it from me if you have the ability. Your freedom, rights, and even your life in the hands of me can be taken back. Hancock's face was cold. North actually wanted to be the deputy captain of the 9 snake pirates. It was wishful thinking. In the past 3 years since he was on the boat, he has been a low-level handyman. He is a slob who cannot be supported by mud. I don't know how many opportunities Zheng Jin has given him, but none of them have satisfied her. But for some unknown reason this time, Hancock was expecting North to take something away from her. She also knew that North should have hidden some strength since he got on her ship. Captive arrow. Hancock did not underestimate North, nor wasted time, and directly used the strongest petrochemical ability. This trick is a new ability developed by this emperor after his overlord color awakening. If you can continue, or even successfully counterattack, this emperor will give you what you want today. It can also be admitted that you have the right to be arrogant in front of this emperor, but your life is still my own after all, and you are only allowed to be the most arrogant son above the sea. These are my personal matters, right? I just agreed to board the boat and destroy the Tianlong people's rule with you, so you have no right to interfere and make decisions about other things. North is not afraid of the arrows of captives, and the biggest harm is nothing more than being petrified. But so what? An arrow of this speed can't threaten him at half the speed of light. Very well, now you'd better pray that you don't get petrified by this emperor, otherwise you will end up locked in an iron cage and paraded through the streets. Hancock said coldly. Her fingers touched her lips lightly, and a huge peach-colored heart-like substance had already been transformed, and then she pulled it back like a bow and arrow, and shot a large number of pink arrows towards North. Phantom. North cast the phantom body technique on the spot, using half-light power. The whole body became illusory, like a mirage that might dissipate at any time. At the same time, his speed was very fast, and he had avoided countless arrows in the blink of an eye. What's even more incredible is that even though he watched countless arrows penetrate his body, there was no sign of petrification, as if all the attacks of the arrows had been nullified. What are you kidding? How is this possible? The two sisters who were watching the battle were stunned for a moment. I thought that even if North is a natural type devil fruit capable user, he can ignore some ordinary physical attacks, but sister's attack is not simple. What's more, it also blesses domineering, and it is also the power of domineering. How can it not petrify the ability user of the natural department? Could it be that North's speed is indeed faster than we imagined? Even the power of knowledge and color we control can't keep up with the rhythm. But how could he become so powerful all of a sudden? Is he slacking off every day, or just sleeping and slacking off? I thought he was just a little bit stronger than the two of us. The two sisters were completely shocked by some of North's strength. Thinking of my sister's strongest attack now, making these arrows fall on the soil and the big trees, they can immediately produce a petrification effect. In other words, objects that don't need to be confused by my sister can also be petrified. This move is already getting closer and closer to invincibility, okay. Chapter 5. We didn't know what happened, but when we took off my sister's clothes, I noticed that the brand of the Tianxiang dragon's hoof was gone, but the 4 big black characters of "Come Here" are very eye-catching. Ole, what a strange phenomenon and behavior, but don't worry, my lord, these words are written in edible jam, and they are slowly falling off. Just take a dip in Luohua's bath, it can all be washed clean without leaving any traces. Grodd and Sonia didn't know who did this thing. The most important thing now is to thank God. I don't know if it was the unnamed good man, or the blessing of God opened his eyes, and marked the slave mark of the elder sister. Eliminated. So the two sisters would not know that now Hancock's heart is actually full of flames of anger. Who made Usse leave the 4 characters of "Come Here" for a visit on the body of a majestic empress? Really regard the back of the family as a tourist attraction, a place of historical interest. Fortunately, Hancock didn't explode in front of the innocent two sisters. How can this matter have nothing to do with them, let alone they don't know? Otherwise, the face and shame will make her even more ashamed, because some things are fine if others don't know, but if more people know, it will be called horror, and it will make life worse than death. Despicable, it really is an unforgettable thing. Nuas, you wait for this emperor to die. Hancock snorted coldly in his heart, then took a deep breath, looked at the two sisters in front of him and said, "Look at your body, did the mark disappear along with it?" "Good sister." The two sisters nodded, very excited, and hurriedly checked the slave marks on their bodies. It's amazing, elder sister, look at our naked body, isn't it perfect?" "Hee hee. It's gone, it's really gone, my God, what happened to us?" The two sisters were so excited that they both cried and couldn't help crying. "Well you. If I know that it was that good man who saved my traumatized heart, I will definitely be like those people in the legend. Although there is nothing in return, I can promise you with my body, even if it violates the system of the daughter kingdom." "It makes sense, Sonia, I'm very supportive of you this time. We really can't forget this kindness. It's too big for our 3 sisters." Jared nodded and said very seriously. But he seemed to remember something again. Then he was startled and said, "By the way, this is not a good thing North did, right? I remember that his solar power seems to have a healing effect, but I may be thinking too much. I have also seen his ability. It is impossible to completely remove the imprinted scars left on our bodies for a long time. Usually, when I see him, I can only raise exotic flowers and plants, and save some ferocious beasts that have just been injured. That's all. That's right. Besides, the man north is really getting more and more stingy now. If anyone falls in love with him, they must be people with brain problems. Even if it is really him out of 10,000 possibilities, then I will immediately repent of what I just said, and it is impossible to promise him with my body even if I am killed. That's right. Speaking of which, that villain North still owes us a sea king. Yes, there is also a set of deep-sea caviar dishes. Sonia nodded, feeling very happy. While Hancock was listening, he didn't know why he felt awkward, especially what Sonia said. If anyone likes him, they must be people with brain problems. Could it be that the Emperor fell in love with him? How is this possible? Hee hee. Hancock whispered, laughing at himself in his heart. My lord, what did you say? But the two sisters swiped over at the same time, as if they heard who the elder sister wants to like. Oh. I know. Could it be that my lord's sister also thinks the same as us? Want to make a promise to the good man who saves our three sisters? Don't talk nonsense. If my elder sister really thinks like us, he must be our common savior. He is the real hero man who saved us from suffering. Jared said seriously, but the expression gradually lost. It is really unfair that the heroic man who rescued them was attacked by the Navy 3 months ago and died of serious injuries, and finally died. Okay, you can all go out, don't tell anyone what happened tonight. Hancock has always been very sad about Fisher Tiger's passing. Yes, my lord. Then, those citizens who are still outside the city late at night, don't they need to wait any longer? Sonia asked weakly. Look at the arrangement, don't disturb my bathing time again. And 10 minutes ago. North flew quickly over the sky in the dark night, and returned to his bed without attracting anyone's attention. Although the place where he lived was not on the upper floor of the palace, it was on the lowest floor of the palace. The upper floor is where Hancock handles government affairs now, and the third floor is where they bathe and relax. Hatch. Lying on the bed with a large font, North hit a few hacks, and fell into a deep sleep without thinking too much. To be a good person, you don't necessarily need to leave a name, just like Uncle Lay. In fact, North is almost such a good person, and there are not many people in this pirate world. In the middle of the night, a dark figure appeared outside North's door, sneaking in, holding a large kitchen knife in his hand, and rushed in suddenly. In a dark room, a red boa constrictor, North's pet snake named Hong Pippi, was curled up in a corner and shivering all the time. With its red-hot senses and sense of smell, it seemed to have witnessed everything at the scene. Red Pippi was very scared and did not dare to make any resistance to the bed of the owner, North, because the person who came in the middle of the night was the mistress of Messaluo, a very terrifying and cruel woman. Moreover, Hong Pippi likes the snake of the same kind in Messaluo very much, and has been thinking about the perfect union that day, so she decided to play a fool. Usse, taking advantage of the dark moon and high wind tonight, I will give you a little reciprocity, and have an in-depth exchange of blood. Hancock came here in casual clothes, quickly flashed to a bed, raised the kitchen knife in his hand, and slashed at the bedding indiscriminately. Within seconds, absolutely stomped dozens of choppers on it. Then, without worrying or looking at the result, he disappeared in a flash and disappeared into the room. No other major damage was done, and no major disturbance was made, and it was as if nothing had happened in the room. A urinary swelling hurts so much. North snorted sleepily. He was peeing on the side of the stairs outside the palace, and he felt much more relaxed after peeing. Then, carrying his trousers, he returned to the room in a daze, lay down on the bed and fell asleep again. Chapter 6. Morning. North woke up to find the cotton wool quilt, and someone hacked him more than times in a row. The methods were extremely cruel. The cotton wool quilts were beyond recognition, as if they had been humiliated and tattered. Who did this shit? North looked confused. Could it be that it happened within the time of urinating last night? Red Pippi, let's go. North looked at the red python in the corner, in a state of indifference, knowing who entered his room last night. In this daughter's country, only Hancock, a woman who sneaked into the room in the middle of the night, would make the seemingly ferocious and violent Red Pippi pretend to be a fool. Otherwise, North should have known what happened last night. One person and one snake walked out of the palace, and came to the bustling neighborhood market, where there were all kinds of beautiful women in the crowd. Although the crops in daughter country are poor, the sea life is very rich, and the streets and alleys are full of seafood for sale. You know? It is said that the curse on our empress disappeared last night. It's really great, thank God. That's right, God has eyes this time, as our empress is as excellent and beautiful as a fairy, she shouldn't suffer like that from the beginning. A group of women who still have charm gathered around a seafood stall and chatted. Cough cough. North deliberately coughed and walked over, without much expression, on the contrary his face was very cold, but in the eyes of the women around him who had already been unable to extricate themselves. North seems to be a dazzling light, a man like a god of light, a radiant existence, is full of infinite attraction to women like them. There was a fat woman who rushed ahead, extremely nervous. She was overwhelmed by flattery, and stammered, "Nyo. Nyo. It's Mrs. Nyo Si, morning, good morning." Humph, I can't even say a word quickly, what a disappointment. Although North was not interested in women, he went out for a walk in the morning to relax, and he never wanted to see such a fat woman. He looks like he is overweight by at least 300 caddies, and he also likes other women to be infatuated with men. Today really hinders his mood. The fat woman didn't feel sad and angry, on the contrary, she was even more flattered. My God! Nyo, Master North actually talked to the servant. He even became happy, a little carried away, and hugged the four women beside him with both hands, almost breaking their waists and suffocating their breath. These women were also not angry, maybe they didn't have time to get angry, but they were more excited and liked the man North. The woman who still had charm said like a nympho, Master North is so charming and masculine when he is angry. Yes, yes. I really want to be so favored by Mr. North. When North heard the nonsense of these women, he almost turned around and left. This is simply too scary. Now, in his opinion, some of the pressure on him is getting bigger and bigger. The women in this daughter country are really almost crazy because of him. Not to mention that Hancock stomped him with a knife in the middle of the night, but these women in front of him are also extremely shameless. Hey! Who made me the only man recognized in my daughter's country? North finally sighed in his heart. Don't bother me, or I will leave Lilyland forever. North has no choice but to use this trick to be the most effective under such circumstances. Everything else is nonsense, and if you talk too much, you will cry. Don't, Master North, don't worry, we'll just watch you from a distance, don't worry about us. Yeah, it's enough for us to watch from a distance. As long as Mr. North is in our daughter's country, we are actually satisfied. Yes, Master North, please be sure to stay in our Lilyland forever. Gossip, gossip. This group of infatuated women are so clever with their mouths. North is really depressed and can't help the corners of his mouth twitching. In fact, if he could really leave this ghost place forever, North would not want to stay for a moment. Because this place seems to be a dirty cage, these superficial and vulgar women of all kinds want to take care of him, a man who is as dazzling as the sun. It's just unbearable. But how can this be done? North can't leave this place alone, unless Hancock goes to sea again, he can go all the way. This is also the content of the gentleman's promise in front of Hancock in order to survive first, which really restricted his great freedom. Red Pippi, I didn't want to come out today. It's because you hid something from me, so I found out too late. North didn't want to talk to the countless women around him, so he started chatting with his pet. Next time if you are afraid of that woman again, you are not qualified to be my North's pet, and I will plan to grill you. Hong Pippi was so frightened that she curled up into a red ball on the spot, and rolled around on the ground, but drove away countless infatuated women around her in a short while. Humph! You, Hong Pippi, know my heart well. North is quite satisfied, thinking that it is worthwhile to send a large amount of solar power to it for cultivation, which makes this guy's intelligence much higher than that of ordinary snakes. Judging from the fact that it is cold-blooded enough to understand feelings, it is not a simple red-skinned snake. Master North, do you need to see some fresh ingredients today? A lady boss who is as deep as the sea runs a good seafood shop on this street, with a pretty smile on her face, and she is obviously flattered a lot. Because North was coming straight for her. She said happily, by the way, a section of Neptune meat was delivered just now, which is quite fresh. No need. I'm here to find Margaret. North said lightly, is that cute little loli still at home? The proprietress who bought seafood was really disappointed after hearing this. It turned out that North was looking for her adopted daughter again, but why didn't she take a second look at her, the proprietress, every time? In fact, she is quite cute when she smiles, although she is not as cute and righteous as her daughter Margaret. But the boobs are still huge. However, the proprietress replied very happily, yes, Mr. North, because my daughter slept too late last night, she may not get up to practice now. Yet it's really big brother North, you came to play with me? Then where will you take me to play today? Suddenly, in the room behind the proprietress, a little blonde and blue-eyed loli, white and white, less than 1 meter old and only 8 years old, rushed out the door. There is innocence on her face, and she is cute, of course, it is more of a childlike interest. That's called justice. Brother Nuos, I will be lifted up and hugged. Margaret rushed to Nuos in the blink of an eye, raised her small head, and looked at Nuos with watery eyes. Haha, so cute. A smile from the heart appeared on North's face on the spot, touched Margaret's head, and then lifted Margaret above his head. These days, North can only find a piece of pure land on the faces of some Tongluli, which is what he wants to see. Because the other women in daughter country really have bad intentions towards him, they just like him at every turn, and they are willing to be cows and horses to be ridden and other vulgar words. It really left North speechless. He's not the kind of man who is about to perish in a gentle town. Did you see it? Did you see it? My man smiled. Don't talk nonsense, Mr. North is the holy fruit of all the citizens of our lily land. When did it become yours alone? Hee hee. I didn't expect Master North to make my heart soften when he smiled. A group of narcissistic women who have never seen a man before, faced such a small move by North, they were so stupid that they went crazy, obsessed, and perverted, unable to extricate themselves. North felt that this problem had to be solved, otherwise it would be too crazy. Brother North, you are really welcome by us. You can see that they all look so happy, like a female cat in heat. Margaret lay softly on North's head, and said innocently. Hee hee, don't worry about those adults, they are really boring. North couldn't bear this group of women who were so obsessed with him, so he just said to Margaret, little Lolita, today I will take you to the beach to play, and I will capture a sea king, do you want to eat it? I want to eat, so happy. Little Lolita was very excited. Usually she can't go to the seaside, where there are many sea king threats, and she is too young. Only at the age of 12 in the country of daughters can these children be given the freedom to go to the coast alone. Of course, under the leadership of adults, there will naturally be no such requirements and restrictions. Brother North, I heard that sea kings are as big as our house, and they are very fierce. What should we do? Margaret said innocently. It's okay, I'm super powerful, if they dare to attack us, I'll roast them and eat them all. While speaking, North held the little lowly and headed towards the beach. Behind him is a group of envious women watching him off. Chapter 7. 3 months ago. The 9 snake pirates Boa Hancock and his party have returned from an expedition. But on the way back, the 3 Cook sisters were surprised to find out that Fisher Tiger, the leader of the Sun Pirates, was ambushed by someone when he escorted a child named Kurlaw back to his hometown not long ago. The Rear Admiral, Stallberg, was mortally wounded in a sneak attack. The last Fisher Tiger escaped, but died. This caused the 3 Hancock sisters to completely lose their sanity at the time. They began to hate the Rear Admiral who attacked Fisher Tiger, Stolberg. Not for anything else. That Fisher Tiger is the savior of the 3 sisters, a hero of the sea who will never forget and is worthy of gratitude and respect for a lifetime. The 3 sisters of Hancock coincided with each other on this matter, and drove the Hydra ship back to the Great Channel, hoping to catch the Rear Admiral on his way to the New World and return to the Navy headquarters. At that time, the old woman's army on the boat could not stop the impulsiveness of the 3 Hancock sisters with various reasons of self-harm. In short, the 3 Hancock sisters vowed to get rid of the nasty Rear Admiral and avenge Fisher Tiger, and the anger of the 3 sisters needed to be borne by the Rear Admiral. That's it. A week later, Major General Stolberg was successfully intercepted near an island leading to the New World. The 2 sides disagreed on the spot and started a fierce battle. In the end, Boa Hancock, who was in a rage, awakened his domineering arrogance during the battle, and turned the tide on the spot, and even severely injured Major General Stolberg, who was a 2-knife and good at iron head skills. North, of course, was not involved in any combat. During the 3 years he was on the 9 Snake pirate ship, he has been in silence. In the world of pirates, he is an unknown person. He doesn't care about any big or small things on the ship. At most, he just does what he should do as a low-level staff, such as cooking, salvaging food from the sea, sweeping the floor and other chores. And the fact that the pirates intercepted and attacked the Major General of the Navy headquarters, even the Major General who had just made military achievements, spread all over the world, as well as the New World, and countless naval branches in just 1 month. Another lawless pirate who has awakened the overlord's arrogance and showed the potential of a king. The senior officials of the Navy headquarters, headed by the Marshal of the Warring States of Buddha, immediately issued a reward for all the crew members of the 9 Snakes pirate ship. But it has been fruitless for several months. In the end, the CP organization, the secret intelligence agency, sent a piece of information about the 9 Snake pirates, only to know that this ship had entered and exited the Calm Sea area many times. Make sure the event is in the land of the Amazon Lily. The current admiral of the Navy headquarters, the Warring States of Buddha, decided to recruit Boa Hancock in the name of Shishibukai after comprehensive consideration and weighing the pros and cons. Just today, 10 warships from the Navy headquarters have sailed and parked near the sea outside the windless sea here. The naval soldiers on board were all among the elite. They were well equipped, with swords and rifles as basic configurations, and the most powerful ones were cannons and sea shovels. The leading officer. In recent years, the well-known Vice Admiral King Z, but there is also a Major General, Stolberg, who has just recovered from his injuries. Lord Lieutenant General, I, Stolberg, are willing to be the vanguard to go to the windless sea to recruit Boa Hancock from the 9 Snake pirates. The Rear Admiral asked respectfully. The Lieutenant General King Z on the deck, wearing the uniform of a Lieutenant General officer, and wearing a big coat, sat on an old man's chair with his legs crossed. His whole body was covered with a white chill, and he looked ahead indifferently, but he was invisible. There is a terrifying coercion in it, like a sleeping white tiger. This is the terrifying figure that has terrified countless pirates in recent years. It is said that this guy is superb at playing with ice, and there are countless pirate characters in his hands. I'll give you 3 days at most. Qing Ji said lightly, giving off a tired and weak look. Yes, Lieutenant General. Major General Stolo was overjoyed, and finally had the opportunity to take advantage of this opportunity to show his prestige. A coastal port on Hydra Island. The scene here is out of control. The Neptune-like creatures in the sea and the female warriors on Nine Snakes Island are vying for common food. Huge Neptune-like creatures, there are more than a dozen of them hundreds of meters away. They are attracted by their companions who died on the sea, and they want to eat the bloody flesh. They rushed up and scrambled away. The water splashed and the sea was choppy. The female warriors on the shore, in order to catch the sea kings who were lucky enough to kill, vowed to drive away the group of later predators. Shoot the arrows, drive them away. A commander issued an absolute order. I saw a group of female men, that is, women who are stronger than ordinary men. They are wearing uniforms, holding a curved bow in one hand, the bow is a temporary shape of the boa snake, and pulling the arrow vigorously in the other hand, with armed domineering attached to the tip of the arrow, initially showing their sharpness, and directly gathering several high-speed the swirling breeze. Just when the commander at this moment gave an order, arrows were shot out one after another, as if they were flying across the sky, continuously shooting at the Neptunes on the sea. This arrogance is applied to the tip of the arrow, just like magic is attached to the bullet, its speed and power are multiplied. Even the huge Neptunes who are thousands of meters away dare not please them under such a dense rain of arrows. What's more, this group of huge Neptunes with hundreds of meters in front of them. Boom! Pfft! But unexpectedly, the sea kings in the sea went completely berserk because of the pain. They crazily hit the coast of the port of Nine Snake Island from the sea, and even some smart guys rolled up layers of huge waves on the sea surface, allowing the undulating waves to beat and submerge countless humans along the coastline of the port. At this moment, countless hunting and fishing female warriors were overwhelmed by the tens of feet high waves, and some women were even hit by the waves and lay down hundreds of meters away. Ah! Ah, my chest hurts so much. Ah, I can't do it. Countless female warriors screamed one after another with different reasons and methods. Looking around at this time, the members who participated in the fishing were almost wiped out. Ah, it seems that the big sea king fish we killed failed again during the fishing process. The commander got up from the ground with her whole body wet, she just sighed, and didn't feel depressed because of this, because things like this happen often, and it can only be said that this time it was bad luck. They will still work hard next time. You are so weak and in a mess. When fishing on land, you will be hurt by a few big fish. Suddenly, North appeared on the scene with a cold face, and there was little Lori Margaret standing beside him. I'm sorry, Lord North, we have all let you down. The commander blamed himself very much. In fact, he was really looking forward to Lord North's action in his heart. Heard that Lord North followed the Empress on an expedition at sea for 3 years, so he must be extremely powerful and terrifying. Humph, and you screaming, it makes me feel irritable when I hear it. North said with a dark face, looking very disappointed. Now, shut up all of you. While speaking, dozens of solar light spheres were released smoothly, which were very warm and full of powerful healing power. And these solar light balls fell directly towards the wounded soldiers lying on the ground. In less than a minute, the ball of light disappeared into their bodies, and those wounded and lying female warriors seemed to have witnessed an unimaginable miracle. The chest doesn't hurt anymore. The legs are also better. Even his physical strength has recovered. But none of them said a word. Even Lord North doesn't like noise, so they should finish what they want to say to Lord North in their hearts. Chapter 8. Brother North, you are so amazing. In fact, I know you don't really hate them, otherwise you wouldn't have cured them like this. Margaret was very happy as she grabbed North's white pants, talking. Facing the naive little Lolita and telling the truth again, North just said in a low voice, "You are still young, so you can understand the things between us adults? Well, now I'm going to catch big fish, you stay here, don't move, just watch. Go, go, I'm not going anywhere. Margaret nodded seriously, and then said, Brother North, you have to be careful, the fish in this sea seem to be a little bit bigger than I imagined. Call. The next moment, North seemed to have turned into a gust of wind, and suddenly disappeared from everyone's sight. When he appeared, he was already floating above the sea. This scene made all the female fighters here swallow a mouthful of saliva. The impact is also terrifying. It turned out that Master North was even stronger than they had expected, and he could fly and levitate, which is simply unbelievable. Ridiculously self-deprecating. They also thought about kidnapping Lord North, and then several sisters carried them into the grove together to conduct in-depth research on Lord North. If it wasn't for the Empress's reasons, they would have acted long ago. After all, Mrs. North is the only sacred fruit of their daughter country, which makes them feel very attractive, and it is also the temptation of desire that makes them unable to control themselves. Therefore, everyone who is in the dark wants to take a bite. Just now? After seeing some of Lord North's strength, they felt a sense of loss. Oh my God, what a pity, such a powerful man will not be able to tie him to the grove from now on. At this moment, North didn't know what these women really thought. He just always felt that these women wanted to mess with him, and they were going crazy, but in North's heart, he felt that female warriors were better than ordinary citizens of daughter's country, at least in terms of self-control ability, they were much more self-reliant. Hey, but now if North knows that the female warriors are not as controlling as he imagined, but more courageous. I don't know if North will show a completely disappointed look because of this. Experience deep-sea fried fish. Looking at all kinds of Neptune creatures under the sea, North no longer hides and pinches, and even chooses not to be lonely, so let yourself completely shake up the entire sea. Sunburst art. North produced enough gravitational force through the sun of his body to suspend on the sea surface tens of meters high, releasing an incomparably hot power of the sun with his hands, and then kept restraining himself. A fireball like a burning magma, with black patches, was condensed like this. Getting bigger. At this time, it seemed that the entire sky was burned, and the same was true of the sea. This has simply become a suffocating operation. There is even the surrounding space, which can be seen with the naked eye at this moment, and it is distorted under this force. One can imagine how hot and terrifying this burning fireball is at this moment. But as North kept restraining the fireball in his hand, it seemed that concentration was happening. But it's not completely like this, because the temperature of the fireball is constantly decreasing, the fiery redness of the sky is constantly fading, and the flame color of the sea surface is also gradually returning to the original sea blue. After a few minutes, the fireball in North's hand was very red, still like hot magma, but it didn't have a terrifying temperature, and the surrounding space didn't distort anymore. However, only North knew all of this clearly. In fact, this Japanese explosion art that he restrained seems to have become a bomb that can explode at any time, and even after it explodes, it is enough to release unimaginable destructive power. Now even if he throws it into the deep sea, this force is enough to fluctuate and stun countless fish creatures within a few miles. Moreover, he generally does not dare to use this trick on land, fearing that if he does not control it well, it will hurt innocent people, and the scope of its influence is too terrifying. Start the countdown for me. North let go of his hands, and the introverted and condensed sunburst art in his hands fell directly, like a solid iron lump that was burned red, sinking continuously. After 5 minutes, this solar sphere with introverted destructive power will explode in the process of sinking. Creatures within a range of several miles will be affected, and even the huge Neptunes hundreds of meters away will be stunned by this force. A few miles away on the windless sea, a warship has emerged. Rear Admiral Stolberg held a monocular telescope in his hand and stood upright on the bow. He saw a man floating on the surface of the sea and dropped a strange sphere from his hand, but there was no sign of anything happening on the surface of the sea. Strange, how come there is a man in Daughter Kingdom? Stolobel was very puzzled. He asked the ensign behind him, "Are there any men on board the 9 snake pirates?" "Major General, the posters of the 9 snake pirates are all painted women," the second lieutenant said with a silly smile. In his hand, he held several reward posters of the 9 snake pirates, and he seemed to be studying every member of the 9 snake pirates all the way. Beautiful as goddess. He looked at it again and again, almost unable to move his eyes away, thinking what a beautiful and charming young girl. Impossible. Stahlberg immediately vetoed it. He even picked up the binoculars again, looked at the floater, and then snatched several reward posters from the second lieutenant's hand. Boa Hancock has a reward of 8,000 million Baileys. Boya Marigold, offering a reward of 3,000 million Baileys. Boya Sandasonia, offering a reward of 3,000 million Baileys. Boyanos? That's right, this is him. Stolberg's eyes lit up, and he snorted coldly, "What an idiot, this reward poster actually painted him as a woman with breasts, and even his information is completely wrong. CP, the group who provided the information guy, it just made a big joke in our Navy headquarters." The second lieutenant beside him took a look and said with a disdainful smile, "Major General, this matter should not be so serious, this is just a mere bounty offerer. If a man is painted as a woman, it can actually mean that he is a white and tender ordinary person, or it is also possible that he is a group of women's fair faces." Humph! Go at full speed. The Major General snorted coldly. Just a few minutes later, this warship was completely exposed to the eyes of countless pirates and soldiers on 9 Snake Island. It's the Navy. There is a blue G letter on the canvas. This is a warship from the Navy headquarters. Go back and tell your Lady Empress. However, North raised his arm, signaling to everyone to be calm, and he snorted coldly, "It's just a warship, I'll just go there." The next moment, North disappeared directly in the same place. I saw that he was stepping on the void all the way, and the ripple force generated by gravity was generated under his feet. After a while, he sprinted several hundred meters to the sky above the warship. "Hey! You stepped on my son, do you want to fight with me?" North crossed his arms and looked down arrogantly at everything below. Chapter 9. Son? What son? It's just a little baffling. Major General Stolberg felt confused. He frowned, and finally remembered that the young man in front of him had appeared in his sight for a few seconds, but at that time, the other party had no capital to attract his attention. But now, in less than 3 months, this guy seems to have transformed from head to toe, very eye-catching, as if he is going to be the focus of today. The Major General said with a righteous tone, "Are you a pirate, Boyanos?" Please don't add the 2 insignificant words Boya, my name is North. Out of consideration. North didn't like the word as a front title. If he does not change his name or surname, even if he destroys the world, it is his business alone, how can he allow other people to share this glory? In fact, he just didn't want to hurt innocent people, after all, his existence was doomed to be extraordinary. North? Hee hee. The Major General smiled amusedly, "You know your bounty? But a man like you who can fly and has no leg hair, since he is a pirate, how can he be willing to be worth 100 Baileys? After all, in today's daughter Quilai has become the only man. Tell me, what is the purpose of you hiding under the sight of our navy all these years?" Stolberg sneered, trying to force North in front of him with absolute naval majesty and momentum. Although he has not conducted other research on North's personal strength, he did not underestimate him, and directly judged North in his heart that he is not an easy person. "It's just a rear admiral. I'm not even interested in killing you. What right do you have to know everything about me?" North looked at the other party disdainfully. The corners of Major General Stolo's mouth began to twitch, his face was greatly damaged, and he didn't even have the most appropriate words to refute North for a while. In fact, there must be some powerful rebuttal words, such as this sentence, Who the hell are you? Don't know me, your mother, still don't kneel down and talk? But how can this be something that a navy can say casually? Arrogance. Our Rear Admiral Stolo is the hero of the Navy headquarters, and even the mighty Murloc Fisher Tiger was seriously injured. How much do you have for a mere boy? But at this time, the second lieutenant next to Stolo was definitely a good subordinate who defended his boss. When he saw that their major general was too insulted to step down, he immediately stood up and said, "Court death." North went cold on the spot. He pointed straight at the second lieutenant of the Navy, and dared to call him a little boy, so let's pay the price of his life to witness how much he weighs. Airspace. North transformed the invisible gravitational force generated around his body into a suction force within a certain range, and directly grabbed the second lieutenant on the ship. It's too late to say. The second lieutenant on the ship staggered on the spot, and a strong suction seemed to stick to his whole body, and instantly let him off the deck, making him completely unpredictable. Fortunately, Stolberg, who was on the side, made a timely move, grabbed the second lieutenant who was about to fly out, and pressed him hard on the deck. At this time, Stolberg was shocked. This was indeed not a weak suction force. Even if he pressed down on the second lieutenant's body with one hand, he could directly feel a pressure that could not be ignored. If this continues, he can guarantee that he will not be able to hold back. Come on, quickly press down the second lieutenant's body. Stolberg hurriedly ordered. After receiving this order, a group of a dozen or so naval soldiers rushed up on the spot and piled up a hillside of human flesh. Little did they know, the second lieutenant of the Navy was so pressed that his face turned red and his ears were flushed, and he almost choked up. As a major general who participated in the siege and suppression of pirates many times, Stolberg was still able to appear calm in the face of North's incredible means. The next moment, he made another forward gesture. I saw the Marines behind them raised their rifles and aimed at North tens of meters above the sky. Some guys even launched a few small cannons. The big net fell from the sky. Stolberg's face turned black, and he said, "This time our navy drove a warship into the windless sea, not to capture your 9 snake pirates and bring them to justice, but if you kill my second lieutenant, you will be the first prisoner we take." Stolberg has enough confidence. Don't forget that there is still a large fleet stationed outside the windless sea. He only needs to make a phone call, and Lieutenant General King Z will come to clean up the mess. North was superior, disdainful, and said domineeringly, "Dream, in my world, I am the rule." Hey! It's really stubborn to speak out wild words. Stolberg sneered instead. He wants to see how capable the opponent is, dare to contend with the strength of their 10 warships, and even face a powerful vice-admiral at the same time? Attack! Stolo issued an absolute order, and even signaled to a soldier beside him to dial the phone bug to Lieutenant General Qing Ji, asking for support. In the face of countless gunfire and bullets, North was not afraid of danger, and he said calmly, "Remember, the next moment will be the pinnacle of your life for Stolberg." At this time, North's body was half lightened, and it was about to blur. He snapped his fingers. Snapped. Only North himself knew that the sun-explosive art ball that fell into the deep sea had exploded ahead of time. In an instant, in the depths of the sea, unimaginable vibrations and shock waves were generated. Although the endless sea swallowed up the explosion of the sunburst art, it couldn't swallow up that terrifying explosive power all at once. In seconds, the windless sea with a radius of several miles suddenly became rough, as if an unimaginably huge sea beast rushed out of the sea, and rolled up dozens of high waves. Stolberg's warship was like a small boat, flying like a big storm. The navies on board had no way to stop the impact and ups and downs of the big wave. In the last few minutes, the warship suddenly disappeared under the storm of the wave. Overreaching. North's figure completely disappeared. Chapter 10. I don't know how long after that. The sea surface in this windless sea area has returned to calm again. There is no storm, let alone dozens of high waves, only a group of soldiers who fell into the sea are soaking in the sea water. Master Major General, our G8 warship sank into the sea amidst huge waves. Major General, this windless sea area is the most active area for Sea Kings, and our current situation is already very dangerous. Major General, please push your floating pole over there. Some brothers here have drank a lot of sea water and are at the forefront of their lives. They need to ask for help as soon as possible. Damn, is the correspondent dead? Major General Stolberg yelled. He is in a bad mood now. The Lieutenant General gave him 3 days, but now it is good. The whole army has lost its combat effectiveness before the morning, and is even in a situation where it is difficult to protect itself. I'm not dead, Major General, I'm still very lucky to be alive, but the second lieutenant died in a terrible way. A fat man in the Navy was lying on the floating supply box, waving his hands. In this situation, Major General Stolberg had time to mourn the death of the second lieutenant, but hurriedly asked, "Where is the phone bug? Have you contacted the Lieutenant General?" Major General, to be honest, the signal of the phone bug was interrupted at a -degree dead angle before the incident, and it was impossible to contact the phone bug of the Lieutenant General. The fat man said helplessly, "Then, the phone bug also swept into the sea. How could they know that the power of invisible radiation produced by the release of North Sun power has long interfered with the signal source in the nearby area?" At this moment, Stolberg and the sailors floating on the surrounding sea were instantly chilled when they heard it. They didn't expect that their only hope was gone. Do you really have to wait 3 days? But the Sea Kings here will not let them go. As long as there is one, they may be wiped out directly. Ah! My God! There are so many fish, they all floated out of the sea. Major General, save me quickly, the Sea Kings are coming. A guy got out of the sea, but was pushed on his back by a floating Sea King. This scene almost scared the courage of countless Marines. After all, when death really comes, there are few who are not afraid. For a while, in the eyes of this group of Marines who fell into the water, strange things happened one after another. Countless fishes, thousands of them are floating on the sea surface, and there are even several hundreds of meters of huge Sea Kings, several or dozens of them appearing on the sea surface. The smaller fish are all dead, but what about the bigger fish? For example, the Neptunes seemed to be injured, and they passed out temporarily, so they didn't launch any attacks on them. Major General, only these Sea Kings are still alive, and it seems that they may wake up at any time. What should we do? Should we take immediate action, act first, and find a deadly place to stab them to death? Otherwise, when they wake up, we will not be able to escape their jaws. Don't do this. If you shed a lot of blood, it will only attract more terrifying Sea Kings. A Navy stopped him, because thinking of the scene of blood staining the sea is a very scary thing. Billable, beep, beep, brew brew brew. However, at this moment, the sound of a phone bug sounded nearby, causing all the Marines to hold their breath, as if grasping a life-saving straw. Major General, the phone bug seems to be in the belly of this Sea King. The Navy on the back of a Sea King said suddenly, because the voice of the phone bug really came from the belly of this Sea King. He could hear very clearly. The Major General orders you to immediately drill through the hole above, quickly contact the Lieutenant General, and ask him to come to the rescue as soon as possible. Stolberg issued an absolute order. In fact, he can use the 2 swords to separate the Sea King, but this will cause a lot of blood to flow into the sea water. It has to be said that the consequences of doing so are very dangerous. Yes, Major General. The Navy didn't hesitate at all. It was related to the life and death of their entire crew, so he had no other way at this time, even if he entered the belly of this Sea King. So what? They are the elites of the Navy headquarters. In fact, life and death are not things that cannot be taken lightly, especially when there is hope. In this regard, the other navies finally saw a glimmer of hope, and a strong desire to survive arose in their hearts. The other side. The hunters and fishermen on Nine Snake Island have entered the stage of a great harvest. Use large nets to catch floating fish on the sea surface, and rowboats to drag large floating fish into the sea. There are all kinds of big shrimps and giant crabs, even the deep-sea fish that North needs to have in his stomach this time, not to mention that this is a place where Neptunes are active, and it is impossible not to catch the fainted Neptunes up. Master North, I am really lucky this time. Lord North, let this servant come and wipe your sweat off for you. Some female warriors are still courting North, just wanting to eat his tofu and take advantage of him. But why doesn't North understand this? He said coldly, a little bluntly, you are really boring women, these sea kings who surfaced will wake up within half an hour one after another, you have this time to seduce me, you might as well harvest it more food, let your empress pamper you. After finishing speaking, North found the commander of the coastal port and ordered, immediately send a grown sea king to the imperial dining room of the palace, by the way, find some deep sea fish with fresh fish eggs in their stomachs, be sure to send it back and forth quickly to ensure the freshness. After the commander was flattered to hear this, he immediately mobilized his subordinates and sisters to do things for Master North. Little Lolita, will you come with me to the palace? North is going to cook a big meal, and then eat a big meal, because the consumption just now is a bit heavy, and he needs to replenish his energy properly. And if he didn't guess wrong, the one who came to order the recruitment of the King's Kaiwahe this time, and then took the opportunity to dismount, was not a defeated general like Major General Stolo, but at least a lieutenant general who was not weak came to sit in command. To highlight the power of the world government. I'm going, so can I still meet the beautiful Empress? Margaret was very happy this morning. Seeing the bravery and fearlessness of the female warriors, seeing the invincibility of Big Brother North, and now being able to see the Empress in his dreams at close range, it is simply unbelievable. Feeling a little out of breath, so lucky. Of course there is a chance, but what is there to see about the Empress? It will definitely be more interesting for you to watch me cook food than watching her. North thought of Hancock in his heart, he might have sneaked into his room with a knife last night and murdered the bedding, and he was really upset. I really feel that I don't want to do anything wrong with my feelings. I just came to the door casually in the middle of the night. What kind of place does this treat him as a man's room? What's more, he is still a serious person. My Lord North, the previous queen is here, and she's over there. She seems to have something to do with you. Suddenly, a female warrior came behind North, and said respectfully. What's the matter with this old lady? North thought to himself, and then took little Lolita towards the old lady's army under a tree not far away. North, did you use that ability again? The entire 9 snakes were affected, and it woke me up from my dream. The old lady's army actually knew some of North's abilities, so that's why she didn't stop the man North from staying in the daughter country, because the strong ones have value for staying. I just use it for deep sea frying, nothing to worry about. North said lightly, but he didn't believe that the old woman came to him just for this trivial matter, so he asked, Old woman, what else do you have? I'm very busy now, by the way, I'll ask you later. Don't want to send you a big meat dish. But the old woman's teeth are bad now, and she can't chew on slightly hard things. You'd better not be stingy, get me more collagen, boil it into a luminous thick juice, and send it to me as soon as possible. Just come. In fact, I also need to take care of my skin like that little girl Hancock. Grandma's hammy has become like this, but she is not at all ashamed. Then she took out an old newspaper from her bosom. By the way, take this and have a look. This is a good thing you did 3 months ago, and it has already been rewarded on posters. North took it and glanced at it, then handed the newspaper back again, and said, Actually, all of this is within my expectations, but after today, my reward will surpass Hancock's. Now that I, North, are no longer silent, I only hope to fulfill my original oath as soon as possible and liberate myself from the shackles. But these things, My old lady can't control it, you young people can figure it out, as long as it doesn't affect the people of the Lily Land, and it doesn't affect my peaceful old age, thank God. Granny's Hammy put away the newspaper, and said jokingly without reminding her, Noth, your bounty portrait is still quite pretty. You just live too comfortably, so I just did a small thing when I was a fledgling, frying fish in the deep sea, and blowing up a warship from the Navy headquarters at the same time. There will be a good show to watch in the near future, your old lady must be mentally prepared, you know, since I, North, decided to make a move, even I am afraid of this terrible power. North smiled jokingly, but it made people feel that he was not joking, but was really reminding everyone. Speaking of this matter, then I remembered that there is one more important thing that I must take the opportunity to tell you, since last night, Hancock has suddenly suffered from a terrible mental illness. Now she is lying on the bed and is in a situation where she cannot fight, so you have to deal with the affairs of the warship alone, and then go back to her for recovery treatment. I think in this world, only you can heal her completely. Old Lady Zami shook her head, sighed, oh, I was never so happy when I was young. No problem, no matter what the illness is, I can try it. North didn't think much about why Hancock fell ill suddenly, but he didn't really think that Hancock was really sick. I thought to myself, didn't Nima hack into his room with a knife in the middle of the night last night, then even a brand new set of bedding was not spared. Then, old lady, let's just say this first, I have to go back and prepare some food quickly, and I will use my fists to communicate later. In this way, North temporarily went back to prepare for the next battle. Chapter 11. A few hours later, 9 warships from the Navy headquarters appeared in the windless sea, lined up. The man in the lead is the well-known Lieutenant General Qing Ji of the Navy headquarters, who has the power to freeze everything. In the eyes of countless pirates, he is said to be a monster, who once performed the feat of freezing the sea for thousands of miles. In the eyes of countless navies and soldiers, it is said that his immature combat power is already qualified to be the first candidate for the Reserve Admiral, and his future is simply limitless. On the other side, 2 sisters, Jared and Sonia, of the 9 Snake Pirates, had already rushed out of the port of 9 Snake Island in the 9 Snake pirate ship at this time. You can see the flag of the 9 Snakes pirate ship, which looks like a sun with a skull wrapped in 9 snakes in the middle, and the entire hull is dazzling cinnabar red. The main power of this ship in the windless sea comes from the 2 huge swimming snakes under the hull, dragging it forward. These 2 huge swimming snakes have venom that even the Neptunes fear. It can be said that in the windless sea area, the 9 snake pirates are the absolute overlord, and even the Neptunes dare not challenge them. North, you must not hide from us this time. My sister is suddenly sick now. We, the 9 snake pirates, are facing such a powerful naval lineup right now. I guess you are the only one who can lead us. Went out to resist, but our 2 sisters can deal with Major General Stahlberg at best. On the boat, Gorod said seriously, also, thank you very much for the big meal you prepared for us before the war. The Neptune-like dishes are so delicious and nourishing that even my big breasts are full. Full of strength. That's right. North, you can take us with confidence. Gerudo and I are not afraid at all, and we still want to go back and eat the leftovers, hee. Sonia nodded, hoping to now North needn't be distracted by worrying about them. Seeing the seriousness of the 2 sisters, North smiled, you 2 have changed your attitude towards me 180 degrees today? It seems that it was not like this before. Oh, who told you to hide it before? I thought you wanted to be a little boy who ate soft food. Besides, now that you are the deputy captain of our 9 Snakes pirate ship, we will definitely respect you more and more. I have to talk to you properly. Sonia said a little coquettishly, and almost rushed to grab North's hand and shook it. Okay, today I see that you 2 are quite serious. North suddenly took out a white cigarette from his trouser pocket, and held it to his mouth. Come on, can you light it for me first, and then talk? The two sisters looked at this and knew that North wanted to see their true attitude. You wait, I'll get the fire right now. Sonia ran into the cabin, quickly took out a box of matches, and carefully lit it for North. How? Am I okay? That's right, you actually recognize me as the vice captain, so let me assure you, I will protect your safety, and if anyone dares to touch a single hair of your hair, I will kill them. North smoking a cigarette one after another, talking lightly. All the members on board, after seeing North so calm and strong, felt much more at ease in their hearts, and thought to themselves, they are indeed the soaring deputy captain. I have long heard that Master North has been hiding his strength. Now that he thinks about it, it is estimated that the power of deep-sea fish frying before is just a small test of his knives. Its true combat effectiveness is estimated to be far from being revealed. Hee. I know that North is the best for us. Sonia smiled charmingly. Seeing Sonia's suddenly seductive appearance, North couldn't help shivering, thinking that he still couldn't open his body and mind to them. It's terrible. Come on, this trick is really useless to me, you'd better go sail. Ji Wen threw the remaining cigarette butts into the sea, looked at the naval ship still some distance away, and reminded all the girls on board. It's the same for you for a while, don't see that the other party is a man, just want to rush to get excited, anyway, without my order, you can only watch the show on the boat, and the whole process is soy sauce, understand? Understood, Lord North, don't worry. In this way, the 9 snake pirates sailed on the windless sea, and gradually approached the 9 warships of the Navy headquarters. When the difference between the two ships was more than 50 meters. Suddenly, the sea with a radius of hundreds of miles was frozen by King Z's power of the Ice Age, and even the 9 snake pirate ship was frozen on the sea. When King Z made this move, it could be said that he acted first, not only creating a frozen field that was beneficial to their naval operations, but also blocking the enemy's escape route to a certain extent. This is one of King Z's tactics in fighting at sea. Wow, this is the strength of the Vice Admiral? You see, our ship was directly blocked by ice. Well, it's really powerful, even the sea can be frozen in an instant, it's a devil. On the 9 snakes, all the girl thief crew members were extremely shocked and nervous about this. This is not only because the base of their pirate ship was frozen, but looking around, it seemed that the entire sea surface was frozen, and even caused the surrounding temperature to drop sharply below 0 degrees Celsius. Bitter cold, chilly. Hey? Major General Storloberg, het. Long time no see. Gorid saw Stahlberg, who was defeated 3 months ago, at a glance. On a warship opposite, she said mockingly. Your strength is no more than that, but it is reported that you have killed the captain of the Sun Pirates in a frontal attack on the sea. That is a big pirate with a reward of more than $1,000,000. Are you putting gold on your face? Unacceptable. At this moment, Jared's behavior was also particularly exaggerated. As soon as she stretched out her long legs, she half-stepped on the rail protection of the boat, and then her whole body leaned forward, all the pressure and gravity of the upper body were relieved from this thigh, and at the same time, she was showing her body. The yellow private document between the legs didn't care about the navy that was peeking over from the opposite side. If it was this group of naval elites, who couldn't even hold back Jared's casual sideways look, then one day they would meet the Emperor-level beautiful Hancock, they might not even be able to pull out the bullets, and they would lose all their combat power. Even, becoming a driven slave in an instant is a matter of iron plate. As for Major General Stolo, he was rescued on board more than an hour ago, during which time he was scolded by his superior, Lieutenant General King Z. Said that he is not worthy of being an officer, not only lost a warship of the headquarters, but also buried several soldiers at the bottom of the sea. The most important thing is that such a bad thing happened in just one morning. In this regard, the current Stolberg is standing behind Lieutenant General King Z, not wanting to say a word, thinking that it will all be decided and handled by the Lieutenant General, lest he cause any trouble. On the other hand, a sergeant in the navy who was following King Z immediately found a wanted poster, looked at it, and reported it. Lord Lieutenant General, this pirate is Boyagarut of the 9 Snakes Pirates. He has the snake fruit of the animal family. Although the bounty has reached 3,000 million Baileys, it is not to be feared. Chapter 12. King Z didn't pay attention to what the sergeant said to himself. But a lot of cold air began to emerge from all over his body, as if he was very angry. He asked Major General Stolo, "That guy killed our soldiers, right?" Stoloberry regained his senses in a daze, and immediately responded, "Yes, Lieutenant General, that guy's name is North, and he hides it very deeply, and the reward offered by the world government is only 100 Baileys. But in fact, not only can he fly freely, but all kinds of methods are incredible." Able to fly? It's a rare ability. Qing Ji frowned at this. There are very few pirates who think in their hearts that they can fly freely. Could it be that the golden lion Shiji who suddenly disappeared 10 years ago was actually dead? Now Piao Piao Guo has changed people and reappeared in the sea again? Has he a criminal record? This doesn't seem to have any criminal records. All the detailed information was provided by the Secret Intelligence Agency CP 3 months ago. It only said that he is a talented cook and a ship doctor who has treated many patients. Secondly, 3 months ago, the 9 snake pirates attacked our ship, and he did not participate in the battle. It was not until today that he suddenly changed into a different person. Measure the power. Major General Stolo said a lot in one breath, and every sentence was true and credible, and he didn't dare to deceive the immature Lieutenant General in front of him. Ice Horseman, I heard that you are a monster in the Navy headquarters. In recent years, you have become more famous in the sea. I don't know how many rewards the world government can give me if you are defeated by me. Suddenly, North carried out a gravitational flight, and landed on the mast of the warship where King Z was located very arrogantly. When he bent down and looked down at King Z below him, the fighting spirit in his body was released uncontrollably. But North quickly became upset. He sneered and said, "I, North, only have a bounty of Baileys. Your navy is really boring. Do you just look down on me like that? Or tell me, even an animal can compare to me?" North really couldn't figure out how the reward of Baileys was wanted, making him even worse than a reindeer, which became the biggest shame in his life. Then North couldn't hold back after all, and broke out on the spot. "Come on, the son of disaster." North's movement was to support the sky with one hand, and he looked extremely domineering, and the clouds above the sky began to surge and turn black. Suddenly there was a little red light, as if piercing through the darkness, spinning and growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The thick dark clouds around it began to change color, directly showing the sky full of fire clouds. All of this seemed to happen in the blink of an eye. The sky changed, and the sea was dyed red, like the end of the world, or the coming of hell. A solar sphere, like a burning sun at close range, floated above North's head, occupying the center of the sky, and released an astonishing destructive power, as if it could destroy this world. No one can compete with it. "King Z, do you dare to fight me now?" North roared, issued the ultimate challenge, and said with contempt in his eyes, "Hey! Even if you don't fight, my move will come down." All the navies began to panic. This guy is too strong and terrifying. At the same time, there was a lingering thought, how could this guy's danger value be worth 100 Baileys? Don't need to think too much, it's because the information sent by the CP organization, the Secret Intelligence Agency, is wrong. After all, the move to change the sky in front of him is probably the strength of a general or the 4 emperors, isn't it? As for the pirates on the 9 Snakes pirate ship, they were all dumbfounded, as if seeing North for the first time. Apart from being unbelievable, they were still unbelievable. How could they have imagined that Mr. North on their ship was already terrified to such an extent that the world would be amazed by such a gesture? Could it be that this is going to be the 5th Emperor of the Sea? Do you want to be so exciting? Do you want to be so pleasantly surprised and unexpected? I will do my best to punish you. King Z said expressionlessly. In fact, his heart is very heavy. He feels that today he really met a pirate who cannot be offended, but for the soldiers behind him, for the soldiers who died innocently before, as the Lieutenant General of the Navy headquarters, he must catch this terrible guy. Very well, you are indeed a hero. North's supporting hand pressed down unhurriedly. What drove it was the sun of disaster the size of a blue ball, which began to fall from the sky and was about to destroy everything below. Seeing this, King Z didn't dare to be careless. Today's opponent may be the most powerful enemy he has ever encountered in his career for more than 10 years. He can't hide any strength and decides to go all out. Otherwise, if he fails, the entire army will be wiped out, and his youthful reputation will also plummet. Storm-mouthed chick, the ice system is infinitely strengthened. It was too late, and then soon, a shocking cold air rushed from King Z's body, turning into a large expanse of whiteness, like a shocking cloud in the clouds. At the same time, on the right arm of Aokiji, an ice bird was quickly condensed and rushed towards the so-called sun of disaster in the sky. It showed a strong impact and destructive power on the spot. However, during the flight, the ice bird was even more blessed, and was wrapped and strengthened again by the majestic cold air that shot up into the sky. In the twinkling of an eye, the ice bird under the infinite strengthening increased by more than 10 times in mid-air, reaching a length of -meters, and even displayed an even more terrifying freezing power. Wherever the ice bird has passed, it has left a frozen road, with a huge mouth that releases cold air, trying to swallow the sun of disaster that fell from the sky in one bite. At this moment, King Z said instead, I have to admit that you have the power to scare countless people, but I will do my best to let the frozen child with a sharp mouth swallow your sun-like power, even under unimaginable heat, to extinguish all light and fire above. Yes? But no one can devour my sundae. North gritted his teeth, releasing monstrous flames from his body. Then the calamity solar ball that fell from the sky suddenly released even more powerful fire and light, exuding a more terrifying hot temperature. The strengthening of the calamity sun can be said to distort and tear the space it passes through, and even spots of black marks have formed. Like a black hole with terrifying devouring power. Tear. King Z was taken aback. This is too strong, right? However, King Z has no solution to this, so she can only go all out and dare not neglect. Prepared to make a desperate move, he mobilized all his strength to continuously release the soaring cold air from his whole body, forming a situation of ice and fire with North's power on the spot. Under such output, the space behind King Z seemed to be frozen, not to mention the navy behind him. Naturally, under such circumstances, everything was temporarily frozen. As for the disaster sun that fell from the sky, it was swallowed by this huge ice bird, but this is just the beginning, and it does not mean that this is the so-called end. North said that no one can devour his sun, even if there is no heat, but the light will not disappear. What's more, whether this ice bird can freeze and destroy North's sun of disaster depends on how long King Z can sustain the output before deciding whether he can suppress his immortal light and power during this period. Fire. Chapter 13. Haha, look at the big bird of our Lieutenant General, it swallowed the enemy's fireball in one bite. Oh my god, this really deserves to be one of the reserve candidates for the Admiral of our Navy headquarters. That's right, no wonder they all said that as soon as Lord Lieutenant General goes out to sea, he will be the nightmare of countless pirates. At this moment, countless Marines are very proud and excited. Master King Z is indeed invincible. The world is eclipsed by the frozen power of his hand, as if he has descended into an extremely cold world of ice and snow, with endless snowflakes falling. However, the next moment, King Z's body exuded an unprecedented terrifying cold air. Although the hearts of countless Marines are still boiling with enthusiasm, if they get too close, their bodies will become more and more stiff and icy cold, and they can't help but feel a creepy feeling in their hearts. Lord Lieutenant General. A group of Marines on the warship were scared to pee. They suddenly found that the decks, guardrails, and sail booms on the warship were quickly covered with ice, as if they were going to freeze the entire warship, and even their navy, regardless of enemy or friend. It's terrible. Could it be that the legend about the Lieutenant General is true? Suddenly, the Navy said in a panic. As soon as these words came out, countless Marines looked at the tall figure with terrified eyes. Although they stood in front of them, this moment was so terrifying. It is said that Lieutenant General King Z sometimes loses his mind and goes berserk during the battle, completely indiscriminate between enemy and friend, as if there is a terrible demon living in his body, which makes people feel frightened. This is also one of the reasons why they think that the young Lieutenant General has always been a loner. Don't come near me, King Z just said coldly. As for being a monster, he might be. But not in the way these guys imagined. He is just used to surpassing his own limits in every battle, and often pays a heavy price. Once the released freezing power exceeds the range of the body's tolerance, Aokiji will find it difficult to control this freezing power, afraid of going berserk and getting out of control. Quickly pull out a safe distance between the warships, aim the cannons at the enemy, and be ready to fire at any time. The unruffled Major General Stolo immediately gave a correct order when he had a moment to perform. After all, he had heard of the fact that Lieutenant General King Z was a monster, so he ordered. All soldiers on this warship, transfer immediately. It's interesting. North looked at the Navy on a warship from the sky, making inexplicable shifts, and thought to himself, could it be that this young guy still has hidden means, worried that these guys will be affected once they are cast? But the next moment, North frowned. When I saw rows of cannons pulled out from other warships, they aimed at his position and the position of the 9 Snake pirate ship respectively. North became extremely serious. King Z, maybe your freezing ability is really strong, but if you meet my North's sun, it will be completely melted in the end. North said very confidently and arrogantly, my strength is stronger than yours, the sun will not be swallowed. North stepped on the void, and suddenly clenched his fist with his downward pressing right hand, take the move. Release the Sun of Calamity. The giant icebound bird that devoured the disaster-stricken sun cracked countless fine cracks on the spot, and thousands of red rays of light turned into lightsabers, piercing and piercing out. The ice bird was completely melted on the spot. At this moment, the sun of disaster reappeared in the void, extremely dazzling and hot, as if it was already an invincible existence, able to dominate everything here. And in an instant, thousands of scorching lightsabers were released, like meteors cutting through the space, heading towards the warship and countless navies. Oh my god, isn't this the most powerful move of General Huang Yuan, Bakakayan Guyu? Yu Haijun was shocked and confused on the spot. Those who have been lucky enough to see General Huang Yuan make a move know what this move means. That is absolute strength. Oops, contact the headquarters and ask for support. The Navy was terrified. He never expected that in this windless sea, there would be someone who could compete with the Admiral, or even surpass the Admiral, and might be the King of the Sea. As for King Z, who fell down immediately, his pupils condensed, and the cold air on his body shot up into the sky again, forming a wall of ice as high as 100 battles in front of his eyes. But when this move was performed, Qing Ji wasted a lot, and went straight to weakening, and even knelt down on one knee on the spot, exhaling a long cold air. North's lightsaber attack kept hitting the ice wall that suddenly rose into the sky, and a large amount of water vapor evaporated for a while, covering all directions. Fire! Take advantage of this time. Rear Admiral Stolo wanted to buy some time for the Lieutenant General to recover his strength, and it was impossible to wait for the support of the Navy headquarters, so when they did not receive the order to return, they had to go all out. Boom 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 boom. 8 warships and countless cannons fired 50 or 60 shells in a few seconds, blasting them in the direction of north and the 9 Snakes pirate ship in the void. Major General Stolo once wanted to cause chaos in the enemy's camp, and even destroyed the opponent's pirate ship, making the enemy's main force useless. Humph! It's just dozens of shells, how much time can you buy for your Lieutenant General? North didn't even move his body on the spot. He looked at the self-righteous navy with a sneer and said, in the face of absolute power, any attack by the weak is just paper. Go with. With a wave of North's hand, the Calamity Sun suspended in the void released thousands of lightsabers to the other side. Naturally, at the speed of light, it directly intercepted and stabbed all the shells halfway. You know, his fruit is the sun fruit, which is rarer and higher level than the light fruit of the yellow ape, and the light comes from the sun. All the girl thieves on the 9-snake pirates ship were stunned by this shock, thinking that North didn't care about their safety. They all picked up their bows and arrows and added domineering, ready to shoot the shells that bombarded them. But who knew North was so perverted? With just a wave of his little hand, the flying cannonballs were destroyed in the blink of an eye, and they were even wiped out. Sonia, do you know how I feel right now? Grodd said nervously. Sonia swallowed, and asked with ups and downs in her heart, what mood are you in now? Hey, really, I'm ready to lie down and be the 5th Emperor of the Sea now, this feeling is as real as a dream. Gorid couldn't bear the impact of North's strength at this moment. King Z on the other side took advantage of this to barely recover some of his physical strength. He forced himself to stand up, and decided to go beyond his limits. 2 spears. Immediately, 2 invincible ice spears froze up beside him, one shot towards North and the other towards the Son of Disaster. Hey? Don't you understand? But this time I've got your wish. North decided to convince this guy King Z that he was defeated, and let him understand that the gap in strength between the two cannot be made up by an ice wall or 2 ice spears. Boom! The indestructible ice spear pierced the Son of Disaster easily, but the Son of Disaster seemed to be covered with destructive things, releasing sparks all over the sky on the spot, floating down. These lingering sparks are extremely difficult to extinguish. The warship was ignited on the spot, the navy was also on fire, and even the immature Ice Age was ignited. It's just kind of unbelievable. You must know that the immature power of the Ice Age usually takes 2 weeks to melt after freezing, but now it was ignited and melted by the spark after the explosion of the Calamity Sunday. What? Put out the fire, save me. Oh my god, it's so hot, it's so hot. The Marines on the warship screamed, and the scene was extremely chaotic. There was no time to fight back against North, and they were all busy saving themselves and putting out the flames on the ship. Use seawater quickly, seawater can be extinguished. In a panic, some Marines discovered that only seawater can completely extinguish this terrible flame. On North's side, he performed what is called an empty-handed ice spear. He used the gravity of the sun very casually, and then intercepted the ice spear that was stabbing rapidly in the air. After removing the sharp edge from the ice spear, North held it in his hand, and his entire arm was frozen, but as North clenched his fist hard, the ice spear in his hand shattered on the spot, and at the same time shattered the power of ice on the entire arm. It can be seen from this that the power of North's physical skills should not be underestimated. After seeing all of this, King Z couldn't help but take a breath in his heart. Maybe this guy's strength is more than that. You are really powerful, I hope today's offense didn't completely irritate you. Qing Ji said without being humble. I feel that such a powerful figure has no criminal record, which is enough to show that he is a little different. Maybe as long as he doesn't take the initiative to provoke, he will always behave himself. What? North was a little surprised that this family would say such a thing, after all, a guy who can't scream even if his leg is broken. It seems that time can indeed change many people. Okay, I'll think about it. You can all leave now. After you go back, you must give me a satisfactory position, otherwise the consequences will be very serious. North reminded very seriously. Chapter 14. Under the invincible sun, the 10 warships have been damaged to varying degrees and need to be sent back to the headquarters immediately for repairs and care. King Xi also didn't have any mood and time to raise the issue of the world government's support for the naval headquarters, headed by the warring states period, to solicit Boya Hancock in the name of His Royal Highness Shi Shibukai. As for what happened today, he will truthfully report it. North's will must be conveyed to Marshal Warring States. After all, offering a reward of Baileys is already a wrong start of provocation for such a terrifying strongman, so he can't continue to make mistakes. Immediately reoffer a reward, otherwise a pirate who claims the strength of the Emperor of the Sea will go to endless crimes. What's more, this guy seems to be very concerned about his own bounty. It seems that there is a reason, he must want a result that matches his own strength. The other side. North returned to the Hydra pirate ship. For him, this battle really only used part of his strength, that's all. It was this part of strength that directly pushed King Xi to a desperate situation. In fact, King Xi's own freezing ability is quite strong, North also recognized it at the beginning. But it's a pity that what King Xi was facing was a strong man who could fly, and even attacked from the sky. The second and more important point is that King Xi's fruit ability is completely restrained by the light and heat of the sun fruit, so any freezing method of King Xi, under the attack of the sun, is powerless and vulnerable to the sun's attack anyway. As for North, there is no need to worry too much about whether there will be terrible side effects on the body when North casts the power of the sun. If he was not going to a desperate situation and was not pushed to the limit, North's body would not have any substantial damage. But if you really want to find some side effects outside the body, it can only be said. Every time usse casts the sun fruit, the blood in his body is extremely boiling, as if flowing with incomparably noble blood. If he is not confident, invincible, and arrogant, usse will feel uncomfortable all over his body. There is even a kind of unbearable, wanting to explode completely. So if he didn't want to see innocent people being killed under such a side effect, then North had to present his posture as an invincible, even absolutely arrogant personality from the heart. In short, during the battle, every word of his is a rule, and no one can be allowed to try to die to break his rules, and no one can be more invincible and arrogant than him, otherwise the sun fruit will completely explode. Even he himself couldn't stop the sun's ultimate power immediately. But having said that, North is really a cold and kind person. In the battle, he always suppresses himself to have an invincible posture and to have an absolute arrogance than anyone else. North, why did you just let that group of Marines go like this? They are all the sea dogs of the celestial dragons, and it would be better if they all died. Jared pouted his mouth, feeling unhappy that the group of Marines could go back alive. Actually, I think it's a bit cheap for them. Sonia didn't show it directly on her face, but said, "Oh, what a pity, there are 10 warships, I don't know how many supplies are on them, if we can grab all of them and use them to help the people of our country, I think the people their lives will get better and better." Well, this sentence makes sense. North nodded, "Okay, then next time no matter who comes, they will all die if they don't leave supplies." It's almost the same. Grodd was a little happier when he heard that. In fact, she knew that North was the vice-captain, and he was so powerful, so she had no right to ask and blame him, let alone North faced all of this today. And they are all here to watch the show and play soy sauce. After reflecting on it now, Grodd feels so embarrassed, he didn't help him with anything, and he was ashamed to ask North, probably even my sister would not say that kind of thing here. "I'm sorry North, I regret saying that to you," Grodd said with a red face. "Ha ha ha, don't do this, I still like to face the real you, don't feel inferior because of my strength." North couldn't help laughing, naturally he didn't take such things to heart, and besides, he didn't have the ability to use the sun fruit, so his invincible posture and arrogance could be well controlled. I have no inferiority complex." Jared suddenly opened his eyes in bewilderment, and argued, "I confessed to you because of embarrassment, okay. Okay, we should go back immediately, my sister is still lying on the bed, waiting for North to go back. Sonia didn't take it seriously, thinking that it was obviously a matter of frequent squabbling. Why should it be so clear? She said, Grud, you should be like this, as long as you think that we are North's savior, we no matter what we do, North will definitely forgive us, so don't be too polite. Besides, a person as powerful as North was not picked up from the sea by shrimps like us, why feel inferior? Grodd feels very overwhelmed with Sonia, why is he always unable to keep his mouth shut? He said very depressed, Sonia, you said something that shouldn't be said again. Didn't my sis remind us not to say such things to North from now on? And we can't be North say, my lord sister really wants to see him now, right? Sonia covered her mouth, her eyes were full of disbelief, and said falteringly, but, you are more clear and straightforward than what I said, right? North was really speechless about their brainless performance, so he said, can you two change your routine? Just this kind of routine, I have seen it on your body no less than 1,000 times in the past 3 years, I really bow down, want to throw up, I can't help but want to fuck you. Oh, well then, let's get straight to the point. Sonia and Jared suddenly became serious, and said in unison, our elder sister is suffering from lovesickness. Granny's Hammy said that this is probably caused by you, but only you can save it. Wa ha ha ha. North laughed loudly after hearing this, and couldn't help his excitement at all, and said, could it be that I will counterattack my own destiny, step on the Empress, and restore all the face I have lost in the past 3 years? What are you laughing at? That's right, and who told you to step on our elder sister? Grandma's Hammy said that your operation is actually very simple, and our elder sister will be fine. Oh? Then I'd like to hear more about it. North calmed down, but he still gloated a little. Of course it's to confess to our